Here's another reason why you want to take control of what you're doing.
Everything kind of funnels into the only winning move is not to play the game.
I don't know, guys. This whole thing sounds pre-recorded.
Well, good evening. We're going to start off the show with saying that StreamYard sucks. Screw StreamYard. And poor Ken had worked all day to get this nice presentation going with what he wanted to do tonight. And I don't think he's going to be able to do it. So, but
no
we'll
good
see.
deed goes unpunished, Bruce.
Exactly. No good deed goes unpunished. But hey, welcome to the show. Weather Report. As you can see, there's only 4 of us here tonight. That's because we do not have a guest, but actually the real guest is right here. I am the Weathered Soul, and they're going to be later on these guys are going to be interviewing me. Keep in mind that this is our flagship show, and interview me about what a Weathered Soul is. And the reason why they're going to be interviewing me is because I've been approached by many people who follow us and follow me on the different social media platforms and stuff like that. And they ask, what is a Weathered Soul? So later on in the program, we're going to be getting to that, but we would be remiss if we did not talk about what's going on here in California, in Southern California, because it seems to be 24/7 news for the last 5 days that we've had the fires that are going on in California, and they are definitely catastrophic, definitely a big tragedy, definitely an issue that we have here in California. But basically it's not good. It's burned a whole lot of Los Angeles. At this time of year, we have what they call the Santa Ana winds that come in, and they just happen to be a little bit stronger this year than they are. So a lot of people, we got the environmentalists and the climate change people with their hands in the air saying, "Oh, we knew this was coming, and climate change is the reason for what's going on." And then we got, a whole bunch of other people that are blaming the local government or the state government or the county government, either one way or the other. There's all kinds of, I don't want to say conspiracy theorists, but there are facts that are just apparent. We had fire hydrants go dry. We've got reservoirs that had been emptied a couple of weeks ago before this fire started. We have insurance companies pulling out of California. We got this fire going out of control next to the largest body of water in the world. So what I want to do is kind of open up the show with trying to get some comments from the guys here, because Ken's in Wisconsin, Christian is in South Dakota, and Jason's up in Minnesota. So I kind of wanted to just kind of open it up, and what have you guys heard from over there?
Very important. So in the world of our environment, I get a little verklempt. It does my heart good watching this news and the people of California having the foresight to stop those vicious polluting chunks of soot fire trucks coming down from Washington and Oregon in Sacramento to check their emissions. Until they pass, they can't be let through. I mean, it's bad enough with the fires. Can you imagine 25 more fire trucks spewing chunks of soot into the So California, bravo. This whole thing is this is proof that there is a God, and it isn't God punishing. It's just, I think God does things. He puts a little touch here and there and goes, because in the scheme of things, it ain't that bad. And I'm just going to tell you that. In the scheme of fires, the way fires can be destructive in a city, sure, but the size of the fire, the amount of acreage and stuff that the fire's going, nothing compares to like what happened in Canada. I mean, it was like dark here for a month because of fires that were 1,000 miles from here. So as far as like the scope of the enormity of a fire, the reason why this one's getting so much press is because it happened where people live. and there's a lot of people that live there, and there's a lot of very wealthy people that live there, that people know, that have huge followings, that. So this fire, which is a horrific tragedy, all kidding aside now, the people that have their houses burned down, no one deserves that. I don't care who they voted for. I don't care. People that are saying that you deserve this, you get what you vote for, you know, you have to live with it now. Fuck you. That's a cold, terrible thing to say.
Absolutely.
However, wake up. Said, we're going to make it, we're going to slash the regulations and make it so much easier for you to rebuild and stuff like that. I'm like, we're going to get the lumber. Where are you going to get the house plans, the home builders? And I'm not talking just the workers. You got plenty of workers out there. But all of the other things that go into building, you know, you're basically building Levittown in 1948 again. You have to rebuild a whole city. This is no small feat, and it's going to take a long time. And a lot of people just factually aren't coming back. This next election where you are, Bruce, is going to be extremely interesting to watch.
It will be. Christian, what do you got? What do you got to say?
Well, I had to check my. How do I sound? Am I okay?
You need to go closer to your mic a little bit, I guess.
Well, let's talk louder then. Is this okay for now? I'll try
Yeah,
to figure this out
okay.
in the background. Here's the thing. Here in South Dakota, we have something called the Badlands. And guess what the Badlands are full of?
Come on. Rocks.
Sand.
Sand.
The Black Hills are also here. And the Black Hills, they have lots and lots and lots of trees. We have the U.S. Forest Service, along with the state of South Dakota. Guess what they do with those trees?
Chop them down?
They manage them.
They manage them.
Come on.
They also have gone out there, and I don't know if you've ever been. If you've never been to the Black Hills, you should go. It's amazing. If you have at all a desire to go off-roading at all, the Black Hills are amazing because you can go see nature in all of its beauty. And you can go every year. There's never fires there, except when the service drags a whole bunch of the dead stuff out, and then they have a controlled burn, and they take care of it like responsible adults. Now, there's one more thing.
Christian, at that point, did everything in the forest floor die? Because they took all of their land and their food and did everything. All the animals in the forest floor are dead, right, in South Dakota because they cleared the forest.
No, it's funny. If you come here, you can go and pet the. There's a whole petting zoo out here in the Black Hills. You go up and you can go pet the furry cows. They love it. Scratch them behind the ears. Make a friend for life. For the rest of your life, that animal will adore you. All 30 seconds of it. Here's the other thing I want to talk about. And this goes more, and I mentioned this to you guys a few days ago. For a long time, California was trying to develop itself and become a better place to live. And for, I don't think, the better part of a century, maybe more than that even, they planted all kinds of trees out there because there was space that they needed trees built or planted. One of those trees, and there's others like this, one of those trees they planted is the eucalyptus. And this tree is not indigenous. It is a species that was added to the environment artificially. When the eucalyptus tree gets dry, guess what it turns into?
Tinder.
Well, it's full of these oils.
Exactly. It goes
hot.
It's a very hot burning tree. Now, the Oakland Hills fire, which was a couple of decades ago, or maybe a decade and a half ago or so, was all full of eucalyptus up there, and that fire was so freaking hot. We're going to talk about that later. I just want to make that comment that we have eucalyptus all over Northern California.
So this isn't me pointing a finger. This is just me saying I have seen places that have we'll just call it a similar environment where it is it's functioning. And it manages to keep on every year and not try to destroy itself occasionally. Every year.
So I think what this conversation, what California really is needed is more koalas, because the eucalyptus is, of course, their main food source.
Well, but the koalas are always high. Oh wait, it's California. They'll fit in great.
You
Yeah, that's
see,
a good idea.
koalas and sloths, they'll eat all the eucalyptus and it'll be fine, and we can cut them down. Yeah, it's you know, watching the shit show also between the mayor and the fire chief there, this this finger in the dike off that they're having. I'm sorry I said it, but I'm just the DEI stuff that's happening, and it's just showing itself. And now they're all pointing fingers at each other, and this is going to be the biggest. Each, you have to eat your own to get out of this. Everyone needs to be fired. Everyone.
Oh, definitely. There's no doubt about it that that people need to be fired. Somebody's head's got to be on a stick, and we've tried. Trump was out here, a little more than 4 years ago, because we had some big fires out here, and it was all political. Of course, everybody hated Trump. They still hate Trump out here. They have no respect for him, and but he said, where's your forest management? What's going on here? You guys are doing this and that because the environmentalist lobby tells you that you have to do this and that, and it's abominable of what's happening here in California because the environmentalists, because of a tiny fish, a little smelt that has to be protected, is the reason why we can't be distributing water or damming up our rivers and stuff like that. Up north in California, where we have plenty of water, they have started taking dams down so the Indians can have their natural fishing rights back with the salmon that come up. Well, down in Southern California, there's no natural rivers that come up or come down and dump into the Pacific Ocean. So their only recourse is to make reservoirs. So a decade ago, we passed a bill, Proposition 1, that gave billions of dollars to the state of California to build reservoirs. Not one fucking reservoir has been built in Southern California. Not one. We have a brand new reservoir up here in Northern California, that Los Vaqueros. It's a fantastic reservoir, but it doesn't go down to Southern California.
Bruce, all that money's still sitting there, though, right?
Oh, no. The money is gone. The money is gone.
What?
Yes, the money's gone.
And
the mismanagement of money here is just incredible. And and it really doesn't matter who, let me share my screen here with you real quick. I want to show you something.
While you're sharing your screen, couldn't we just kind of put like a plastic tarp around the Pacific Coast Highway, and run the water from where you are down the highway to where they need it?
Here's a little meme that somebody made. That Gavin Newsom demands answers from whoever in charge of California.
Hey, the memes on this deal are really, really good.
They're good.
They are.
My favorite one I saw, and I should have saved it and shared it with you guys, was Newsom and the mayor in AI of them playing a violin with everything burning behind them.
Yeah, the real shame about this all is number one, the pointing the finger. Number two, the DEI. But the biggest shame of it all is us taxpayers and the voters here in California that just continue going down the same freaking road. They don't like Republicans. Why don't they like Republicans? I don't fucking know why they don't like conservatives and Republicans.
They used to.
But because they used to. But all of a sudden now, they just think that saving the smelt, that saving, I'm sure that a lot of them are changing their fucking mind now.
I doubt it.
The matter is, and I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it. In another 2 years, when Gavin's up for re-election, whether he goes for re-election or not, whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. We're still going to probably get a Democratic government. We're still probably going to have a Democratic supermajority in the state Senate, and people just aren't going to freaking learn. They're never going to learn. These things happen all the time. Every time the wind blows down in Santa Ana or down in Southern California, they have a major fire. This one just happens to be a little bit fucking more than it was before. And I'm not so sure that these fires hadn't been planned or set by somebody. Could be ecoterrorism, could be PG&E and their mismanagement of their electrical grid and things like that. But for the governor to sit there and say that his government is going to look into this. His people are going to look into what the actual cause is a fucking joke.
Also, the things that I've seen, and I'm not a conspiracy theory person. After COVID, I'll at least give it a thought, because a lot of them came true. But as you know, in California, they're trying to put in high-speed rail all over the place. And I saw a map overlay of proposed high-speed rail areas that they wanted to go through, kind of that whole area. And it almost perfectly intersected with where all the fires are.
Yes.
And I know there's people, because I've heard noises of people on Twitter, and this is just folks that are out there saying, "Oh, well, now we can rebuild better. It can be a lot more eco-friendly, and we don't have to have And I'm like, that's where you're going to screw yourselves, you guys. You got to just let commerce take place. It doesn't have to be eco-friendly housing everywhere. If you want to build fireproof houses, that makes sense. You build earthquake-proof, not fireproof." Go ahead, Christian.
I saw a short clip. Do you know why Elon went to Texas to build his factory, the big one?
To get to the other side?
Well, he went down there because he could. He went down there, and they had the building done in 18 months. Mm-hmm. In California, the same building, it would have taken 2 years, and they wouldn't have even been done with the permitting process.
Right.
How long is it going to take the Palisades to even have a dump truck show up, which is going to be expensive because it's got to be a brand new dump truck?
Electric.
Oh yeah, it's got to be probably electric. Probably going to have to be electric.
How long is it? How expensive is it going to be? Just even start trying to help these people fix their lives. I feel bad. I mean, I have never been through anything like that. I don't have any idea how bad it must be right now. My heart does. I don't care. Like Ken said before, I don't care who you vote for, whatever. I feel bad that people are having to deal with this. It would be wonderful if the state of California could extract its cranium from its posterior and help these people really get their lives back together as fast as possible, and not as green as possible, or not as whatever is possible, unless the word is fast.
Yeah. Jason?
No, I agree.
And then one more.
There, Jason?
Can I get one more in there? Can I just drop
one? Go ahead. Go ahead, Christian.
When Newsom runs again, he's going to walk in and he is going to destroy anyone who runs against him. You know why?
This is his only chance.
His new running mate is Trudeau. I'm going to go sit down now. Jason, it's all yours.
We don't have that kind of stuff in Minnesota unless it's Minneapolis. Then the fires burn as they would. Ken knows that, and Christian knows that. This whole DEI stuff just needs to go away. There's a lot of things that I saw regarding the fire people saying that if they can't carry some person's husband out of the fire, then they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's like, what the fuck is that? Seriously?
That's DEI.
Yeah,
that was the most disgusting freaking excuse that I ever heard out of anybody that in any type of official capacity. And that was a firefighter from California, hired under the DEI practices. And I don't know.
Bruce, are you hiding somewhere in the background the video of Adam Carolla in his interview as to what happened with him? Are you hiding that somewhere?
Oh, that was excellent.
Outstanding. These guys are all going to have to get permits.
Yes.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah, Adam Carolla tried to get into
7 years he had to wait, and the lady in front of him, 3 days.
3 days. 3 days. That's how twisted that California DEI politics are. And it's just all DEI politics, because nobody feels this way outside of Los Angeles County, the San Francisco Bay Area, or any of the large counties here in California that have metropolitans in them, Sacramento, things like that. Anybody else that's out in the Central Valleys or up in the northern counties up there, they don't want DEI. They don't want anything to do with it. Best person for the best freaking for the job, and you could talk, we could talk about Walmart, and how the DEI affects Walmart and Costco. It doesn't take a genius to work at those places. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You guys are minimum wage jobs. You guys are getting paid $20 an hour, whatever the case may be. When you're a firefighter or a first responder or something like that, you need to be qualified for the job. You need to be there in a mindset that you have a job to do, whether that job is going in and rescuing somebody and risking your life to do it. That is your job. Go ahead, Christian.
One more interesting one, and this is just accidental timing. On Saturday, a group of my children belong to is called Trail Life. It's like Boy Scouts, but without all the politics.
Right.
It's great for kids, for boys. Sorry, for boys.
Not all the pedophiles.
No, they make sure there's a really long and complicated background check you have to go through to make sure that they protect the children. They make a really serious effort to protect the children. Anyway, on Saturday we went to a firehouse, did a tour of the firehouse here in Sioux Falls. The fire station, or excuse me, the fire system, and I think some of the law enforcement too, they're ISO certified here. We get a discount on our insurance because our fire department is ISO certified.
Well,
they are out of the building in like a minute 20. They're on scene anywhere in town in less than 6 minutes.
Wow.
Mm.
And I was talking to the guys because, with my military background, I always think, oh yeah, they got a PT test. So I said, what's the PT test? And one of the guys kind of started describing it. And it sounded like it was real physical stuff. It's not push-ups, sit-ups, and a 2-mile run. It's drag a person for a couple hundred meters or yards, whatever system they used. And I said to one guy, do they index it based on age or anything? And before I could finish my question, he interrupted me and playfully yelled back at me, hell no. It doesn't matter if you're 5'6" and 170 pounds, or if you're 6'5" and 240. It's the same test for these guys here.
Good.
By the way, California, please stay in California. Don't come to South Dakota.
I'm not allowed to come to South Dakota.
Bruce, you could. You'd be okay. We're gonna set up a couple of stops at the border, and we're gonna start doing interview questions. And depending on how you interview, we may not let you in. You can go live in Idaho.
So Ken and well, all three of you guys. So you guys deal with snow and ice and all that stuff. And the snow and ice is controlled on the roads by laying down salt, right?
Not always.
No,
But-
the salt is just a part of it. That's the first and the last part.
But there's salt. There's salt.
But there's salt.
There's salt. Okay. Now I've been to your states. I've been both to your states. I've drove around in your states. And on the side of the road where the salt would basically be washed away and washed out and thrown over into the side of the road.
So I know where you're going. Hold on. I know where you're going.
Hold
on. I know where you're going. Hold on. There's piles of salt and sand on the side of the road that they have to go and scrape up and clean off the side of the road at the end. There's that much. So I know where you're going. I just wanted to add that in there.
But there's a certain amount of it that washes down into the ground. And that ground, as far as I could see, is lush and full of life.
It rains.
Down in Florida, this just a couple of months ago, they had a hurricane so bad that the seawater came in to Tampa Bay and all those places in there and just inundated the coastline and the cities in there. And in salt water. Okay. We're battling a fire here next to the largest body of water in the world.
Is it bigger than Lake Superior?
If you're listening, and John, if you're listening, I heard you on
Thursday. Might be smaller than Lake Michigan.
Where you said that it was stupid for anybody to think that they could use seawater to put out the fires. Well, they're using seawater to put out the fires. But let me backtrack on that. Let me digress on that. Yes, the equipment out here, or the equipment sometimes will not handle the seawater because of seals and stuff like that. But for them to be able to sit there and be next to the largest fucking body of water that you have, to run out of water, fire pressure in your water, to not have pumping freaking fire trucks in LA, because the only pumpers that they have in LA now had come down from either Northern California or up from Mexico. Okay. This is a food fucking bar all the way around. Just a big clusterfuck. I feel bad for everybody there. It doesn't matter whether they're rich, freaking famous, A-listers, B-listers, D-listers, people that are retirees, whatever it is. This is a human freaking tragedy. It really
I believe the term you're looking for isn't what did you say? Use FUBAR. I believe that's what you used.
Fucked up beyond all repair.
Yeah. Well, I heard recognition is one of the way I heard it, but either way,
Reality.
The one actually, because you're in California, you need to find a different one. Here's a new one for you, Bruce. Are you ready?
Yep.
It's Bohica.
Bohica. What's that?
Bohica stands for bend over, because here it comes again.
I think the worst thing is that we're the government. We're coming in to help. I think that's probably.
Now, you got to be sure when you're talking Bohica, you got to kind of be careful how you phrase things.
Yes. Bohica. The Duchess says Bohica. That's what she says. So anyway.
If you're not delicate, Jason will start getting it. Jason's tickle come back if you're not delicate with how you explain that one.
Exactly.
What?
And the whole thing is that we've talked about survival and being prepared and everything when it comes to those emergencies in life. This is a bad one. I mean, so I've heard of a couple of fires that have been up here. We've had some huge fires up here. In fact, the 20 biggest fires that we've had up here. So we have had 18,000 structures destroyed in the Camp Fire. That was in 2018. The Tubbs Fire, 5,000. Palisades so far has been 5,300. Tunnel Hills in Alameda, that was the Oakland Fire. That was 2,900. The list goes on and on and on. The fact of the matter is that some of these fires were so hot that even the most prepared people couldn't be prepared enough. People with fireproof safes, the fire was so hot, when they get in there, all your stuff's just ashes. To be able to be prepared, like you say, have water, have food, have everything else. When you got fire licking at your front door, all you're thinking about is getting out. And all that stuff, you be prepared all you want, that stuff is gone.
If I may, fireproof safes aren't fireproof.
Yeah.
You're fire resistant and only for a short amount of time. It's so you can get your shit and get out.
Yeah. Get your shit and get out. So what we'll be doing probably in the future is running through a couple of real-time scenarios, with this one being in the forefront, on some of the stuff that you can do to protect at least your documents and valuables. And basically, you don't need a cloud, but if you have a couple of thumb drives or something like that, or a portable hard drive or something that you could grab and go with, I mean, that's probably the best thing to do. But there's lots of different things that you can do, and we're going to go on. Go ahead, Jason.
Clouds, those make rain, which would help California right now.
I'm sorry, what?
This guy, brilliant. You could
Clouds,
say
they make rain.
The
That
fire.
would help California.
Look at him thinking outside the box.
You're thinking outside the box, and we do have rain.
Somebody's got to.
January is typically a dry season down in Southern California, but I mean, we backtrack to last year where we had record rains in LA. They were having floods last year in LA. Not a fucking drop of water they could put on this freaking fire. It's just
because we're back in La Nina.
Yeah, this is a travesty. Yeah, we're a little bit dry. We're going to get our rain. I argue with somebody the other day about, they said, oh, we're back in a drought. I said, no, we had 25 inches in Gilroy. I had 25 inches in my backyard. I have a weather station in my backyard. We got 25 inches of rain last year. That is not that. Our average is 18, so we're seven inches over the average. So they could talk and pout about freaking global warming and this and that. I'm sorry, it doesn't ring a bell to me. We do have climate change. Okay, we have evolutionary climate change. That's what we have. And go ahead, Ken.
So while we were looking, and I wanted to look up some things about the Canada fire. Since I brought it up, I should probably back it up with some sort of numbers. In 2023, now the Canadian fires here in the Midwest, when the northern winds came back down and blew the smoke down here, it literally got to be almost night, midday. You could smell it. It was thick. It felt like one of your neighbors was having a big campfire 2 blocks away. Well, so you were saying, Bruce, about the size of this fire. Well, the Canadian wildfires that year in 2023 were 15 million hectares. That's 37 million acres, bigger than all of New England itself. So when I say that this is this is a horrific fire, it's terrible. But as far as the enormity of a firefight or of a forest fire could be, this isn't as big as nothing. And I mean, something like 6,000 hectares of forest burn in Canada every year. And they do control burns. They do all this stuff that needs to be done. It's all there. In 1906, what did San Francisco do? It burnt to the ground, the whole thing. And we're 120 years later, and we're having this problem. It's absolutely unfathomable to me. It's like we had here. You talked about snow, the blizzard of 1991. They call it the Halloween blizzard, and we got 32 inches of snow overnight on Halloween, and winds, and then it got to be below zero for like a month, and then it snowed for the rest of that winter was just a snowy winter. We had so much snow. Life went on. I mean, for the first 4 days after that snow hit, everything kind of shut down a bit because you just couldn't get anywhere, and there was nowhere to you couldn't put the snow anywhere. But you just move on, and that was kind of a once or twice in a century kind of storm. Yeah. Blizzard of 78 was the same way in Boston. I remember I was 10 years old, and the blizzard of 78 was the same kind of thing. 3 feet of snow overnight, and then a week and a half later, we got another 2 feet, and it shut a lot of stuff down. But you pick up and you move on. It's horrible that those things happen. But the problem with all of those is, it's coming a little bit. You can say, all right, we're going to prepare and hunker down and go get food and stuff. So in case the power goes out, which it did for a week for a lot of people. In California, people don't understand. The fire starts, and you've got winds blowing the thing. The fire's moving at 70 miles an hour and at about 1,500 degrees at its core. There is no escape. There is no time. There is no.
It's like that.
Yeah, it's 5 miles away. If by the time you've packed up your things in your bedroom of just your medication and your toothbrush, you've already burned half your neighbor's house down. You better get the hell out of there. If you don't get out fast enough, it'll burn your car in the street while you're driving it.
Yeah. I listened to Armstrong and Getty, and Jack Getty had a farm in Northern California and had a similar situation where he had a brush fire on his property. And he said that he saw this brush fire start. He turned around to get a hose and figured that, he can put this out with the hose or anything. And by the time he went and got the hose and turned around, the brush fire was uncontrollable already and gaining on him. That's how fast the brush fire starts. It's crazy. So one of the things that I wanted to ask also, or wanted to point out also, is that all these places that we're talking about right now are in wooded areas, either up against mountains or in the mountains. Okay. The places that burned up in Northern California, the Canada fire, the Wisconsin Montana fires, wherever those big fires up in mountains are, those things happen all the time.
It's natural.
Just by nature, naturally. Yep. And they never used to fight these fires. They would just either let them go out or they would be put out by the weather. one way or the other. But now that we've inhabited all these places and built our McMansions in the middle of these beautiful freaking redwood trees, and then we don't care about whether or not the people come in and take care of any type of forest management, like, you know, God forbid getting all the sticks out of there so they don't, you know, get, you know, sparked up by something because of some sparking or arcing PG&E lines going right through the middle of the trees. I mean, you know, come on, how dumb can you get? Or they have dry lightning down there all the time. That's what sparks a lot of fires too. And we got arsonists, and we have the homeless population. So what are we going to get down to when it really comes down to what started, who started, where did it ever start? I don't think we're ever going to get to an answer. And I think a lot of people are just going to be screwed, blued, and tattooed over this whole thing.
Can I toss one in here quick? Back to the story that I heard about Elon going to Texas. One of the things he made, or point he made, was it only took 18 months, and they didn't get sued one time, not even once were they sued while they were putting the building up. He said if they were in California doing it, it would have been one constant stream of suits that just continued the whole duration.
Yep.
Can you imagine how busy the clerks are in a Los Angeles County courthouse just for all the filings that are coming in?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Everybody's going to sue everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
And on top of that, President Biden, on his way out, because he's doing scorched earth on his fucking way out, said, yep, we're going to put the taxpayer on top of this, and the taxpayer is going to foot the bill for everything that's happening down there in Southern California. So, hey, you can thank me, you can thank Ken, you can thank Jason, you can thank Christian there, because we're all going to foot the bill to rebuild your stuff.
I get to help pay to rebuild somebody's multi-million-dollar home.
You do. You do.
Awesome. I hope it's nice when we get done with it.
You know, Bruce, you're one of the other things I heard, and maybe this is wrong, but part of the perfect storm that hit with the Santa Ana winds and the dryness, they were saying that because of the Santa Ana winds and just the lack of humidity there, the humidity rate was something like the dew point or humidity was 1.6%.
Yeah.
In Arizona, it's usually 12 to 15% humidity. In Arizona, in the desert, it was 1.6.
Yeah.
Now, out here in the wintertime, it's like 25, 30. And then it gets up to 70, 75% humidity in the summer, which you experience some of, and then it just, the whole sky just turns into water and washes you away.
The sky just falls on you.
But again, I'm just trying to explain to people that to get something to catch on fire when everything's that dry, it's not, you don't have to rub two sticks together.
No.
You take two sticks and you just kind of throw them.
Yeah.
And they catch on fire.
Yeah.
Just quickly change your mind about something, and that'll start something on fire.
Right. So I don't care how these started. I honestly don't, because they were going to start. There was no way you're not going to get.
Didn't matter. Didn't matter. It was going to start.
It definitely could have started between some woman out walking, if she was especially dry that day, with the lips going back and forth, and just spark something.
Some poor kid in corduroys.
Yeah, it could have been corduroys.
Jason, it's not that. It's the swishing back and forth of the armpit hair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great static electricity.
All right. Anybody with any last comments so we can move forward with the real topic of the show?
So California would be better if it was all just a lot more moist.
Yes.
Moist.
Yeah.
Moisture is good.
Well, you know, they were blaming Newsom last year for, you know, because all the rain that we had, that he was seeding all the clouds and making it rain so he could, you know, this is the coup de grace. We're going to flood them out, then we're going to burn them out.
So think of it, if there's an earthquake with a tsunami right now, that's what put the fires out. It just washes up the mountain, puts the fires out, and then it comes right back down into and everything else just goes with it.
Global warming.
You know, and everyone that's above like the 25th floor in downtown LA is just watching it happen, going, "Oh my goodness, it's gonna be a long walk down when the water recedes." Could happen.
Well, the reason why we're here today, other than that, we're going to close this off because, you know, you guys can watch the news, watch whatever news you want to. It really doesn't matter. They're 24/7 on these fires. They're going to do the spectacular. They're going to do the conspiracy theories. They're going to do the, you know, who's to blame. They're going to be pointing fingers at each other for months to come. And this human tragedy, especially, I mean, nobody's talked about the animals. Nobody's talked about any of that. They're just talking about the human tragedy that's going on.
Speaking of animals, if you leave your animal behind, your pets, you're a horrible person.
You're a horrible person. Yeah, you're a horrible person. I hope you took your dogs with you and your cats with you. You know, even because I don't like cats, but I mean, even if you didn't think, you know, your guinea pigs like Duchess likes. So, you know, you take your guinea pigs with you. So, anyhow. Yeah, just a human tragedy. So just kind of keep your eye on it, and you know, pretty soon something else will happen and take the place of it, because we haven't heard anything about drones lately. And you know, President Trump is going to be inaugurated in here in another 8 days, and you know, life's going to go forward. So you know, something's going to happen. And it's always going to take place. You know, the severed head is going to take the headlines away from the fires eventually one of these times. So anyway, moving on. So the reason why we're here is because we didn't have a guest tonight. As you could tell, we probably would have had a guest already. And right now what I'm doing is I'm drinking out of a nice
Called a tumbler.
It's called a tumbler.
It's a hole with a bottom.
It's a tumbler that you can
Saucer,
get from.
tumbler.
This is a tumbler that you can get from Horrible Designs, and I am drinking my active drink here that I get from Plexus. If you guys
pregnant?
you guys have any questions, yeah, not my pregnant drink, my active drink, which is starfruit guava. If you guys have any questions about probiotics and plant-based supplements, this drink right here is sugar-free, has none of that nasty stuff, all natural, and that's what I'm drinking tonight. We're going to go around the horn and find out what Ken is drinking tonight.
Bruce, I think it's sweetened with stevia.
Oh my God, stevia!
Yes, that is a natural.
The nasty stevia.
I heard stevia causes forest fires.
What are you drinking tonight, Ken?
Well, I started out with some good whiskey. Now I've got some Four Roses, which is now the Four Roses is my cheap whiskey, and I'm mixing it with some 7-Up because otherwise I'll be slurring so bad in the next 20 minutes after this rant. So it's just a little Four Roses bourbon and splash of 7-Up and a big old square ice cube.
There we go. Jason, what do you got? What do you got on hand tonight?
Water. Literally water.
There you go. Christian?
Mine's see-through.
Wow.
That is awesome.
He's drinking the Matrix.
We're drinking the Matrix.
I'm actually like Jason. I'm drinking water. I found that, believe it or not, if you start drinking a little more water, you start to feel better. And then you try to get a reasonable amount of sleep every day, and suddenly you realize that
Exercise,
you need a lot of sleep.
stretching,
Fake
yoga.
news.
It's not
Fake news, yes. Fake news.
God, jeez. So I've been asked by many people on many platforms, especially on the Discord platform that me and Jason are on, about what is a weathered soul, who's a weathered soul, when is a weathered soul, where is a weathered soul, and why is a weathered soul. So
Why is Remora?
I have decided that I'm going to let my counterparts here interview me, because I am the weathered soul. As you can follow me on my X account, which is at also known as TWS, TWS being the weathered soul. And
I guess I'll start out, Bruce. And I know a
Okay.
lot of people are really interested in this, so I'm just like to know, Jason, when you first moved to Minnesota, was it a move out of necessity, or did you come to school here? I'd like to hear your story.
there he goes.
Well, it was back in 1998 or 97 when I moved out of Wisconsin and came up to Minnesota, and it was for school. So yeah, that's when I left Wisconsin. I'm originally from Wisconsin, because Aaron and I went to school together growing up, and Aaron from the I Had to Say It podcast. We both grew up together. We're both from Kenosha, Wisconsin, where AMC is originally from, and that's where they're planted. And there was also a lot of
Rittenhouse.
stuff that came out of Wisconsin, such as Mark Ruffalo. He's
Kyle
from
Rittenhouse?
Kenosha.
Kyle Rittenhouse?
No, you cannot. No, this is about me now. Go ahead, Bruce.
You bring up Ruffalo. Isn't he kind of a douchebag actor?
Yes, he kind of is.
He talks
there
like
another
he
kind
knows
of actor?
shit, like we care that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Sorry. I'll shut up now.
So anyway, Bruce, when'd you get here?
I've been here all along.
Who left
So,
the
I'm
door
waiting for
open?
the ride. I'm waiting for a ride. Am I being like too conceited or like high in the sky and I'm the creator and I can just turn all this off if I want to?
Who
Well,
let the
you
troll
can.
in?
Let's do this. Let me back this up because I, of the group here, I know you the least. So let me help here. Let me help facilitate the conversation. Why do you see yourself as being a weathered soul?
Okay, so let me start back. Listen, I wish we had that little harp music to get you all the way back to the beginning of the Weathered Soul experience. But no, to me and John Domingo had Domingo on the Boomer Bunker podcast had a discussion about this actually, and we came back and we just said, you got to be old. I'm 65. I'm going to be 65 years old this year. I've got a lot of miles underneath this old bones. I've lived a lot of life. A lot of you guys know a lot of my story already. I've done some bad things. I haven't always been this real, this guy all along. It's been a long and tortured journey for the old weathered soul here. But go ahead, Jason. Interrupt me.
For those of you that don't know, the Flintstones was based off of Bruce's life.
They all think that not only am I 65, I'm 165 years old. So
165 million.
165 million. I remember actually, doing my math with the stone tablets. So I mean,
You were there, weren't you on the crew that changed the signs on the petrified forest when it was just kind of the mostly scared forest?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were there when
Exactly.
they changed that over.
Exactly. And Ken's right behind me. He's only 10 years behind me. So I mean, he's gonna be
Might as well be the Civil War. I wasn't born. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Actually, the name the Weathered Souls actually came about only 16 years ago when I moved here to Gilroy, California. I was born and raised here in California. And I moved to Gilroy 16 years ago. I spent most of my time, most of my childhood, most of my adult life in San Jose, in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. That's where everything happens here in California. That's what you hear about in the news. That's what you hear. When you're hearing stuff about what's going on in the Bay Area, California, Silicon Valley, that's where I was. That's where I lived all my life. Pretty much got priced out of there because of the jobs that I've had, but now I live in Gilroy, California, almost retired. Things are looking good, and I'm able to kind of relax and stuff. I came here and got involved with the music industry, or not the music industry, but the music crowd here.
The scene.
Met a guy. His name is Eddie, and I'm not sure if Eddie's been on the show before. I've mentioned him a bunch of times. Another fellow musician. So we started a band. And we didn't know what the band was going to be called, but Eddie, being older than me, he was a weathered soul too. But he was old, weathered guy, got the weathered skin and everything else. A hell of a lot more in shape than I am. The guy still rides mountain bikes up freaking big old hills and stuff like that. And he's an old biker, an old dirt biker and stuff like that. Used to race out on the circuit and stuff. But anyway, to make a long story short, he said, well, how about we call our band the Weathered Souls? And I'm like, Weathered Souls. Yeah, that kind of rolls off the tongue real cool. Well, that was the beginning of the Weathered Souls. we're gonna shoot back in time, back into the 1980s, where a friend of mine, me and a buddy of mine named Ron, we started a company called First Note Productions. And First Note Productions was also a musical company. I used to be a DJ, where we used to do DJ parties for high schools and concerts and bars and wedding things. And Ron met his demise early in life, and unfortunately, he passed away in the late 80s. And First Note Productions went away. When I first came here to Gilroy, once we started the Weathered Souls, I started a company again called First Note Productions, put Weathered Soul underneath that banner. And that's actually how the Weathered Soul brand got started. So basically how I kind of look at what the Weathered Soul is that you got to live a lot of life. You got to experience a lot of things. You've got to be ride it hard and hang yourself up wet and damp and dry yourself off. But basically, it's about a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of perseverance. And that's kind of where I like my brand, the Weathered Soul, which is the brand, because the Weathered Report here is just a podcast. The Weathered View, which is on in the mornings, is just another podcast of us being a little looser than we are here. But the Weathered Soul itself, the brand, is a brand that has many facets to it. And basically the facets to it are my episodes in gardening, my episodes in preparedness, my episodes, just all my hobbies that I have underneath my belt that I'll be presenting in my brand, kind of like what Ken does with Mad K Studio, Jason does with Horrible Designs, and Christian does with whatever producing he does. But the fact is that Weathered Soul is a brand devised by me and my buddy Eddie, and it just has to do with life. It has to do with that wisdom. It has to do with that knowledge. It has to do with that miles that you have under you, so that you're able to give back what I've been given, because I've been given a lot of things. And, I've caused a lot of turmoil. I've caused a lot of hurt. I've caused a lot of heartbreak. But for me to be able to take what I've learned and give back to everybody here, I use this platform to be able to have, Ken have a platform, have Jason have a platform, let Christian have a platform. Whoever wants to come on the show has a platform that they can speak their mind out to. But that's just my gift to everybody that wants to develop themselves into a Weathered Soul and be a part of Weathered Soul. And that basically, in a nutshell, is what Weathered Soul is.
And we do appreciate as being able to be up on this platform, looking over the sea of the dozen people that are listening.
We have dozens.
It's been very helpful, and
sixes and dozens. Sixes and dozens.
Yeah. In fact, Horrible Designs sold a Mad K Studio mug today or yesterday, or the other day. It's working. It's working. So you say you got into music, Steve. What you kind of have stopped playing because you were playing out for a while and stuff. You play guitar, so if people doesn't know, Bruce is a guitar player. Can't figure out a click track, but that's a whole different story for another day. But he's a guitar player that's been in a band and played around for years and years, haven't you? I mean, when did you start playing out? Like, when were your first gigs that you were playing when you were actually playing out somewhere?
Yeah, that would probably be 2010, something like that. When me
late?
Yeah, when me and Eddie actually I've always been a songwriter. I've always kind of wrote songs and put them away, and I had a box of them. I mean, it really did. And actually, a really good friend of mine, Jeff, who also is a musician, me and him wrote a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, even before, we're talking back in the early 2000s and stuff like that. I've been playing guitar since I was 8 years old. I'm still not very good at it. Kind of like my golf game. I've been playing golf for 30 years. I still suck. But the fact of the matter is that I've been interested in music all my life. I really did not take it seriously until about the 2000s and stuff like that, where I really started getting serious about writing music and publishing my music. I am published Haven't nobody's ever picked up my music yet, but you know, that's another story for another day. But I write love songs. I write songs about my wife is basically what I do. And I've got a whole slew of them. I've written songs about girls that I've known. I wrote songs about life that I've lived. But basically, a lot of my stuff has just been from copy. You know, a bunch of stuff that I grew up with. You know, back in the '70s, the Peter Framptons, the Outlaws, the Leonard Skinners, the stuff like that. So I'm not the the big old mush. Yes, guitars were before electricity. Yes, yeah. We got the little one, the little one stringed one.
It was a sitar. He played the sitar.
Yeah, the sitar. But yeah, I'm a great big teddy bear when it comes to some of the songs I can't even sing because I cry. So I mean, the Weathered Soul cries. He's not this great big hard rock kind of guy.
Dude, go get down there to Palisades and start playing some sad music and cry some flames out here. I mean, they need all the water they can get. It'll be a little salt water, but it'll be all right.
But no, my counterpart
wooden guitar.
My counterpart Eddie is still performing under the Weathered Souls banner. So he goes out and he does a bunch of appearances out to bars and cafes around the Gilroy Hollister area. So it's
well, Bruce, it's one of the ways that you and me got to be friends online back in the old Nomad Network days.
Yep.
And under the Jason Stapleton umbrella, because we had that in common. We both like cars. We both like music. I come from a very musical background. You know, I've been playing drums since September 10th, 1979. I was, that was even before I was born. I was already playing drums. But, I've been playing in bands since 1983 was our first band. And all the way through the 90s, I was playing out, and I stopped for quite a while. And now I just play my little fake band in the back room there. But, it's nice. One of the things that's cool about right now with you, and you and I have done this, we plan on doing more of it, is so Bruce can go and he can record some music, some guitar tracks or something like that. Send it to me and I can put drums to it. And I'm learning bass so that I can put bass to it too. So, it's part of the beauty of how we all got to meet. We all have our individual interests, but there's a crossover so much. And that's how you and I met, really, was through that. And then we kept doing these little side conversations and stuff, it's been really great. And your old Weathered Souls podcast, you had me on once when you had a partner in that, and it was kind of you guys kind of had a Hannity and Combs thing going.
Yeah,
and it was a good show. It really was. And like a lot of those kinds of shows, it's really hard to keep that going when only one of you is really focused on the prize of conversation.
Yeah.
And I watched that. I watched you just let that thing go. And I could tell that kind of broke your heart in a way, because that was your baby. You had that thing going for a while. You did a ton of episodes. You had a lot of great interviews, a lot of great conversations. And I'm not saying anything bad about your co-host at that point, but you could just see it just drifted apart.
Yeah.
Maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, as things do. I mean, we're on our 48th episode or 49th episode here. We've already discussed that we're going to do this at least another year, so we can so we can do a couple more things that we really want to do. We have plans for the show. We have plans for the brand. We have plans for Mad K Studios. We have plans for Horrible Designs. We have plans for Christian. We have plans for anybody who wants to join us. I mean, that's basically what it is. We're developing a great network of other podcasts that we've been on, and that they've been on our show and stuff like that. So it's all about networking, and I think that's the biggest thing is that if we keep this networking thing going, somebody's going to be able to prosper from it. And whether or not it's you, Ken, Jason, Christian, or me someday, I don't know. I don't have a product. I mean, but basically I'm working on products, and one of these days I'll get to it, but I've got family. I've got this. This is a hobby. This is an expensive hobby, basically, is what it is. But for the most part, the fact of the matter is that I enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy tinkering around with maybe a product that I've got going on, and I just love it, dude. I just love doing this stuff. I'm
going to back that bus up to the side of the road here for a minute. restoring a square body truck is an expensive hobby. This podcasting pales in comparison. So let's talk. We've gone through all the niceties. Let's talk about the important shit. You are restoring a truck to drive 2,200 miles or whatever it is out here in July to go to the Street Machine Nationals with all of us here and have a good time. What kind of truck is it? When did you get it? And what condition is it in right now?
In 2016, I was looking for a truck. I was going to buy a 2-year-old Ram or Toyota Tundra, and I didn't. My next door neighbor had a 74 square body, step side, beautiful truck. And my wife said, do not buy it. Do not buy that truck.
What color is it, Bruce?
It is gold. It's a gold, original gold 74. Like I said, C10 Chevy step side, 350. Beautiful, beautiful truck.
Long box or short?
It's a short bed. It's a short bed. Step side.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dual tanks. I have restored from the brakes all the way up, and all the fuel system has been restored. I was sitting having lunch with my wife one day at the Sonic with my foot on the plunger that keeps the buzzer from going off in the truck while you have the door open. And all of a sudden I have a hot burning sensation on my foot as the plunger had melted through my shoe into my foot. And so I found out that I have really, really bad electrical. I showed Ken a picture of the bulkhead in my truck. He's all like, it's a miracle this thing didn't blow up and just burn down to the ground. Yeah. So right now it has everything all torn out of it. I'm getting ready to, I do a little bit every weekend as I can to get everything hooked back up. The whole thing has wires in it now, and not crushed velvet interior.
You got to do diamond tuck purple velvet with gold buttons in the center of each tuft.
But we are on schedule for a late February start up of the truck, where I will start doing in March. I'll be starting to do small little excursions out. In April, I'll be doing longer excursions out. And by the end of April, I'll be doing a long 100-mile trip back and forth wherever I'm at, because it'll be nice and warm then. It'll get a nice little side trip before I decide that I'm going to go out to Wisconsin in July. And
we're going to stripe the ever-loving crap out of that truck when it gets there. Where I'm bringing my whole pinstripe kit. We're going to set up on that Friday afternoon at the show. And it doesn't matter if it's painted or not, doesn't matter. We're going to bring it up. We're just going to stripe that from top to the bottom. And you're going to get back and your wife's going to be like, my God, what is wrong with you? And you'd be like, you're right, honey. Ken wrecked it. We got to paint it now. Jeez. See? I got you.
So that's my expensive project.
This is for Street Machines National 25?
Yes. I did the Back to the 50s last year. I'm going to do Street Machines Nationals this year. And then hoping to do the duct tape drags in later on in the year. I think in August down in Tucson, Arizona. So we're thinking about doing that. Tucson. So anyway, hey, we're backing up against time here, so we don't have a hard stop, but I want to let you guys know that here's the important update. Well, tomorrow morning we have the best morning show on X, the Weathered View, which is live at 6 a.m. Pacific time on your favorite podcast app, or you can tune in live. All you got to do is follow me also known as TWS, and you can get in on the conversation. The podcast is growing, so we've got tens and tens of listeners there also. But more importantly is that starting today, our viewers will be able to see our bonus content 1 week before we post it to the public. We're going to do some bonus content after this show ends. And if you go to patreon.com/weathered soul, that's patreon.com/weathered soul, and you sign up for $3 a month, you guys can get the bonus content that we do 1 week before we post it next Sunday, because we're going to do some bonus content right after the show. And right now we can't do it live stream. We're trying to figure out how to live stream that. We can't get that going right now, but I will be posting that exactly after we are done with that today. So I just want to let you guys know, go over to patreon.com/weathered soul. That's patreon.com/weathered soul. And I want to thank everybody for being here. Everybody kind of plug themselves before we leave today.
All right, I'll start as I'm everybody. So go to madkstudios.com, and of course we've got coloring books for adults, brand new, fantastic. So to madkstudio, maddkstudio.com, and just go to the shop now. There's a coloring book section, but I do all kinds of other art there. Even if you don't buy anything, it's just a cool place to go look around. There's all kinds of neat stuff to see. So Jason, horribledesigns.com, who is also licensed to sell almost all of my artwork on his products. What kind of products are we talking about, Jason?
I'm Jason from Horrible Designs. I sell mugs, t-shirts, vinyl decals, 20-ounce skinny tumblers, shot glasses, drink koozies, drink coasters, mouse pads, magnets, and stickers. You can find me on my website at horribledesigns.com. You can also find me on Amazon Handmade, Michael's Maker Place, eBay, Etsy, TikTok Shop, and Walmart.com.
Cool.
Nice delivery, Jason. Good job.
Well done.
You've been talking to yourself in the bathroom again, haven't you?
If anything worked on StreamYard, I'd have had applause for you. I've got a button for that.
Yeah. Hey, Ken, one more thing about you on madkstudio.com, Ken, is that you are actually doing some videos on how to color. Is that correct?
Correct. So if you go to my YouTube, which is just Mad K Studio, at Mad K Studio there on YouTube, there's various playlists. Some of the playlists are my automotive artwork, but I've got one that I've just put together that's going to be just art instructional videos as I'm creating work, because I'm constantly busy. I'm pretty prolific with my artwork because it's a disease. I can't stop. But as I'm creating things, I try to shoot videos or do lives as I'm doing it and explain what I'm doing. The coloring book thing, the adult coloring, is a huge stress relief. It really helps with anxiety, stress, and that kind of thing. So part of what I'm going to do is I'm going to very easily show you how to create something very elegant and have a good result right there live. And you can ask questions while I'm doing it. And if you have more questions, that you can always email me too. So you can find all that at madkstudio.com.
Great. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here, and thank you for being so gracious and keeping everything under wraps. That's what I really do. But anyway, no, this is the Weathered Soul. My name is Bruce McGee. I'm the Weathered Soul. You get me at weatheredsoul.com. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. If you like this content, share it with 4 people, and then share it with one other person that you really don't like. And hopefully we can grow this podcast into something that's enormous, even bigger than Joe Rogan. Who knows? You never know. But I'm never going to kiss the ring, so that's never going to happen. So I'm never going to be as big as Joe Rogan. But, that's how it goes.
Never say never, my friend. Never say never.
Anyway, we're going to be back. We're going to go do some bonus content on the other side. Like I said, go over to patreon.com/weathered soul. That's patreon.com/weathered soul to get your pass to see all that bonus content 1 week before we post it out. And I'm going to leave you guys like I leave you all the time. Come and see us tomorrow on the Weathered View at 6 a.m. on Twitter. Just go over there, look for Weathered View. We'll be there live tomorrow morning. And I'm going to leave you like I leave you guys all the time. You guys have a great night and be good to yourselves. We'll see you later. Bye, guys.